Hey there. I just wanted to do a quick recap video on my experience at the Visionary Summit in Michigan that I just attended. To say that it was life-changing is such an understatement. I mean, just the environment, the vibe, the people, the content, the engagement, the love, just everything poured out. And I loved the first one that I went to a few months back, and signing up for this one, I was like, how could I ever top that? And it totally did. So I'm already getting really excited for the one in March. Like, that's going to come super fast. So setting the date for that already. So here are some of my key takeaways that I just wanted to share. So Coach Bob with iMatter gave us the Take 5 check-in, and that Take 5 check-in, the questions that you ask yourself, whether it's daily, weekly, whatever, are just so helpful to help like ground and center yourself. Like, my husband and I were on a walk this morning, and we were just kind of discussing our I am statements, and we were discussing like what currently matters the most to us, and like kind of where our heads and our hearts are at. So that's discussed in his book, Unscatter the Chatter. And there's tools and tips and guides and everything in there. So that one's super powerful. Dr. Stephen Young spoke to us. He was with us the entire time, just so powerful, brilliant, inspiring. Usually when you attend something, right, you're like, okay, well, what are my to-dos? What are my next steps? Now I got to go read, and I got to do more and more and more to continue to learn and grow things. But he said something so powerful to us at the beginning. He was like, you're going to walk away with these tools, like embedded in you, rather than feeling like you have to like learn them and continuously, which obviously there's continuous learning, but he's like, what if I give you these things that are literally like in you and part of you as you go? And I'm like, well, that sounds great. That's, like kind of like an instant download. I love that. And he was right. I mean, everything that I learned about, I'm still thinking about today. It's still part of me. It's there. So he talks a lot about vibrations and just our cells and how we're made up, that like we do actually have the ability to create like and project vibe and energy. It impacts other people and our environment, right? Like, I give the example of, hey, what's the vibe, or I got a good vibe, or I got a bad vibe. And sometimes we can't really explain why or why not. But it's true. Like, a person can maybe be smiling on the outside, but whatever vibe or energy they're putting off really actually like affects you. It affects other people. It can be sent into you. So that's just super powerful. We are actually not, he called us meat suits. Like, we're not just 100%, meat, basically. We are 78% made of light. And that's been scientifically proven. So the concept around like how you direct your energy, how you direct your light, right? Like, you are a being of light. You are made up of light. And how do you take that, and rather than be a laser with it, right? Like, sometimes we get laser focused on things rather than being a light bulb. Like, that concept of being a light bulb is just absolutely incredible, right? We practice hugging to the right instead of to the left, which it's more natural for you to kind of want to lean to the left. Ironically, that actually puts your heart further away and safer, right, from other people. But what we want to do is we want to hug to the right so that our hearts actually line up, and our souls and our energy and everything line up together with that person that we're hugging. So it feels awkward, and maybe even warn somebody like, hey, I'm going to go to the right, and this is why, so that it doesn't feel weird. You don't headbutt each other. So that was pretty cool. The concept of harmony over balance. This was probably my number one key takeaway of the entire session. I think we all focus so much on life balance, right? Like, and even when you say the word balance, it feels like you're doing this, like you're juggling plates or you're putting things in different boxes, rather than considering life harmony, everything being just harmoniously integrated. Work, love, life, family, passions, animals, whatever it is, being in harmony. He talked about music. And if you played music in balance, that it would sound terrible, and it just really doesn't harmonize and go together. Harmonize music. Playing in harmony, everything has just the right amount when it needs the right amount, right? So take that one in for a minute. That one's pretty powerful. The next one is that things are not happening to me, but for me. That's an interesting way to look at things. How can you remove labels of things being right or wrong or good and bad? You know, these polar opposites of like, it's one or the other, right? It's a yes or a no. It's a this or a that. Right, wrong, good, bad, ugly, you know, beautiful. Try to remove that for a moment. Like, if that enters into your mind, just try to like neutralize things. It's going to help you live in more harmony. Thinking about like, you know, we label ourselves, we label who we are, what we have, we label like, I have a thyroid disease, I have Hashimoto's, like I have these things. And then I start labeling myself as identifying as these things, rather than feeling like I'm currently experiencing this. I'm currently going through some health issues, right? And trying to find a way to kind of self-heal yourself a little bit more. I thought that was really cool. Also, what we put our attention on can sometimes be our mirror of what's really going on inside with us. So just thinking about that, sometimes that projection of ourselves onto others or situations, just taking a moment to like let it bounce back in the mirror for a moment. All right, so then we heard from the amazing Mark Abbott, the visionary of 90.io. He gave us a ton of tools, which I'm not going to pull up and show you right now, but just on understanding the company journey, defining trust with people, making sure you're clear on that and working on that. Describing that work is actually your passion. I talked to my husband about this morning because we were talking about what matters to him right now, and he said work. And I said, well, I want to be clear, like this is, you know, is this your job or is this like who you are and the work you're doing? You know, the actual work he does is something so different than just like the job or job title that he has. And that's truly his passion. And again, your work shines through and carries with you in all that you do and everywhere that you are. Mark talked about having agreements, not expectations of people. That's a big one. What else? Also considering, how do we help people matter? How do we matter? And how do we also help people matter? So that was incredible. Elle Ingalls gave us a ton of tips on stress and how to not even let those hormones come over us to affect stress. She said something really powerful about how, you know, a lot of times when we're under stress and in stress, we want to go like work out or do something that like relieves our stress. But a lot of times like that's putting more stress on your body, on your heart, on everything. So understanding that, you know, that balance of like how much stress you're really creating and putting on yourself rather than thinking that it might be relief and it's not. She gave us the concept of flipping the switch, doing like literally this large action of like, imagine I have a large switch on my head, like a light switch, and I'm getting negative or feeling stress or whatever, and I want to flip my attitude or I want to flip my perception on something, literally like flip my switch, like change that up, like doing a big power motion like that. She also gave us tips on like pushing the Ferris wheel and like pushing things off and that kind of releasing that. She gave us some posture techniques and some ability to breathe and understand your breathing and that, you know, a lot of that stuff. You know, we just don't slow down enough to like consider or do or think about in a stressful situation. Just wonderful. Other than that, those were kind of some of my big key takeaways. If you have any questions or want to chat about anything that I talked about or get connected with any of the amazing speakers, or if you're a visionary or know a visionary that could benefit from the Visionary Forums, which are our bi-weekly meetings on Zoom, or our kind kind of like twice a year right now, summits that we go and get in person and get real deep on this stuff together. There's also Go to the Mountain opportunities with Coach Bob. So if you're interested in any of this and this has helped you, please look deeper into this stuff, share it with other people, and thanks for watching.